think outside of the box when you're working in the influence space of the types of people that you could partner with. How are your values aligned and all those things? It doesn't have to be straightforward jewelry and fashion that you partner with. It could be a lot of different categories.
You're listening to Thrive by Design, business, marketing, and lifestyle strategies for your jewelry brand to flourish and thrive. Let's get started.
Welcome to the Thrive by Design podcast, episode 170. Hey there, I'm Tracy Matthews, the Chief Visionary Officer over at Flourish Thrive Academy, the host of the Thrive by Design podcast, and I was also the keynote and the host of Flourish and Thrive Live 2018 here in New York City last week. And I love doing roundup and lesson posts. And so today we're going to be talking a little bit about our live event. Now, I have a true confession to make. Every time we're working on something really big, whether it's a launch of a new product, a launch of an existing product, curating an event for people, I stress out like crazy because I didn't realize this until I started at Flourish and Thrive Academy, but I'm a perfectionist and I don't like being a perfectionist, but I am because I want to deliver the most amazing experience for people. And from day one of getting things started with Flourish and Thrive Academy, I was like, we have to be the best. We have to be the best out there. We have to be the premier resource out there. We have to be the ones that people look to and go towards because that's how we're going to be making a difference in people's lives. And so this event definitely was no exception to that because I work my booty off. But I have to tell you, like sometimes when you're living as your creative self and you're living towards your purpose of what you're supposed to be doing, you can get stuck. And so as we were curating this event, I knew that we decided on the theme for the event many, many months ago, probably like 6 or 8 months ago, that the theme was going to be connection this year because we knew from last year that the most powerful thing that anyone gets from going to a live event is getting from outside their computer or their workbench or their studio and actually meeting their peers, meeting experts, meeting influencers, meeting industry leaders, because that's how we connect with each other. That's how we support each other. That's how we continue to grow. And, we hear this over and over again. I think that we think as entrepreneurs, our problems are unique. Raise your hand if you think that your problems are unique as an entrepreneur. And the reason why I'm asking you that is because why I'm picking you raise your hand or give me a heck yes or whatever you want to say. The reason why I'm asking you that is because sometimes we think we get in to a little pity party about ourselves. We're like, oh my gosh, it's so hard growing a business. It's hard being an entrepreneur. And I have all these problems and I'm alone and no one else has these problems and everyone else is perfect except for me. And I'm the only one who has a struggle. But the truth is that we all have the same struggles. It doesn't matter where you are in business. Once you get past that first hurdle of struggles, you are going to hit another hurdle of struggles and it's going to continue as you continue to grow. It's like you learn your lessons and you get to that next phase and then you learn the next set of lessons and then you get to the next phase and then you continue leveling up and you continually level up. And that is why I'm always on a mission here to support designers over at Flourish and Thrive. And during the live event, we opened up enrollment for our SOS coaching program, which is our top tier coaching program over here at Flourish and Thrive. We also heard from a lot of designers who have been in the program for the last 9 months / a year. We had a delayed start, I guess, to the program when we launched it at the live event last year because it was our first time out of the gate and we wanted to get people kind of through the holiday season so that they could get things going. So we gave them a bonus 3 months if they were kind of the beta subscribers to our program. And one of the things that made me so excited about this year was to see how far they've come in such a short period of time. And it's my belief that, I've talked vocally about this many, many times. I've been in mastermind groups. I continually get coaching. I hire consultants and business development coaches on an ongoing basis because I know that sometimes I have these incredible blind spots in my business and I can't see what I can't see. And sometimes we need this outside support of help to help us see inside ourselves what it is that we need to see. And so developing this SOS program was a way for me to give that experience to our audience and also to be able to help them create their 3-year plan. So when we started the event, I asked the designers to walk through a 3-year visioning exercise. And we had our SOS VIP day before. We did the same exercise there. We spent a little bit more time about it on the SOS day, because what I do know about making great strides happen in business is that 1 year is not really enough to focus on our business, that it's really about this 3-year vision that we're creating and then focusing on it 1 year at a time to get there. Because sometimes when we think too far out, it seems a little pie in the sky, right? I never use that term, but might as well. Pie in the sky? Why not? It seems a little pie in the sky, and it seems like it's would be impossible to actually achieve that. But when we can break it down into something shorter, like 3 years seems like not that far off. I mean, I can't believe that Flourish and Thrive has been around for 6 years. And I keep making the mistake of thinking it's only been around for 3 years. And I keep saying that we started in 2014 when we actually started in 2012. And it's funny because time flies. And in the business world, in the ways the speed of business is moving these days, 3 years is like a blip. And 1 year is just like a small checkbox off that blip. And so it's fun to see how far people have come this 1 year out. And as I was developing SOS, I knew that this was really going to be a 3-year program, but that we wanted designers to at least commit to a year, because that's when the foundation of the growth starts. And then after that, we start to see scale and incredible growth. And so it was really fun to get people together, because the one thing after I asked the designers from the SOS day and after the event that they said is that they felt so relieved that they weren't the only ones who were having the same struggles. And I want to remind you that you are not the only one experiencing those struggles, that we're all in this boat together. And as your business grows, you're going to need to surround yourself with support of like-minded people who can see your blind spots for you when you can't, because that's how growth happens. And so I'm excited because we have a lot of lessons to kind of comb through today from our live event, but we just really had some amazing speakers and sponsors, which I'll be talking about as we go through this episode. So before I dive in any further, I would love to take a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is ninadesigns.com. So many of you are looking for sustainable manufacturers that use ethically sourced materials, that are using recycled materials, that are practicing fair trade manufacturing practices. Well, one of the things that I love about this amazing wholesale jewelry findings and supply company, ninadesigns.com, is that they were practicing fair trade and sustainability before it was even a thing. And I'm using air quotes here. And I love Nina Designs because they are truly committed. Nina, the founder, is truly committed to supporting small business. Not only has she been a contributor to our blog and our podcast, she also comes to our live event just about every year to support the designers and impart brilliant business wisdom. The girl knows what she's talking about, and we are so in cahoots and on the same page. So as a gift to you, to the Thrive by Design listeners, Nina has offered you an amazing discount to shop at ninadesigns.com. So if you are interested in heading over there, go check out the amazing jewelry supplies and findings and charms and leather and so many beautiful things that you're not even going to know what to do when you go over there. Fill your cart up, and for any order $50 or more, you're going to get $15 off by using the code Flourish in all caps 2018. Head on over to ninadesigns.com right now and start shopping. Awesome. Okay, so let's dive into the 13 lessons. I'm going to walk you through really quickly, just a fun event flow. So we had some really amazing speakers. Obviously, I did a lot of the speaking because obviously this is a teaching event for me. So I'm like really excited to kind of walk you through some of the new things, not only that I've learned, but also walk you through the process of helping you kind of evaluate your business in a way so that you can think strategically, but also objectively about where you are so that you can actually see your gaps and know where you need to fill in, because that's what it's all about. So we had a great opening exercise with me and Robin, and I walked you through the courage to connect and how to use content to really connect and build that know, like, and trust connection with your customers, which was really exciting. Then Robin jumped in and talked about your network and how it's really your net worth. And she talked about networking and how to use those relationships when you're networking to really grow your brand for the long term. And then we had the amazing Sabina Hitchin talking about the media and you. And we're going to talk a little bit more about her PR booty call later, which is super fun. One of my favorite things this year was we brought on an influencer panel. We had Janine Just, we had Aggie Burnett, and then we also had Brittany Hennessy come in and speak about how to connect with influencers. And we had some really great takeaways from that. After lunch, we had an awesome overnight rockstar presentation with my good friend Susie Moore. And she talked a little bit more about how to build your email list using guest blogging as an opportunity, which was amazing. Then we did some hot seats and super shares with our audience and had an amazing panel to wrap up our day, including a talk about SEO with our new SEO coach, Maisha Walker. We talked with Patrick Jacobs from Immerse about video and live streaming. And we had my friend Jeanette Bordeaux on talking about social media strategy and analytics. On day 2, this is really our business day. We kicked the day off in style with Catherine Maddie, formerly of Anthropology. She's now the director or the chief merchant officer over at Uncommon Goods, which was awesome. They told us a little bit more to the people who were attending live and on the live stream about how they could submit product to Uncommon Goods. We had a little bit of a contest there, but also what a merchant actually looks for. And this is the information that we got in this session was really valuable to not only think about how you're basically assorting your product for online and direct to consumer sales, but also when you're presenting to wholesale buyers. So it was really, really important. She talked about her experience working for big and small brands, and it was invaluable conversation. Then I walked you through my business booster sessions. So we had 2 booster sessions and heard from some amazing designers about how they've grown their business. I'm going to talk about them a little bit more later. And then we talked about building a profitable business with Ingrid Hilke she's of the Butterfly Revolution, and she talks a lot about Mike McCallowett's philosophy. He was here on the show a couple of episodes ago, and I'll definitely link that in the show notes. She talked a lot about how to build a business that has profits first. And it doesn't matter on the size of your business, anyone can do this. Profitability is the key to success. And then we wrapped up the days in the second part of the afternoon, with some breakouts and micro coaching sessions with Nina Cooper and Hillary Halstead Scott, both our sponsors. We had Leah Sensenbrenner of Jewelers Mutual talking about insurance. We did all about the numbers breakout with Muriel Diaz. And we had some micro coaching sessions with our coaches, Nicole, Jessica, Natasha, and Rebecca, which was super fun because you got to see what it would be like to get coached by the people on our team. And then, of course, Robin used her wholesale magic and talked about her brilliance as well. Then we did some hot seats and case studies and had some fun talking with some of our SOS designers about their website overhauls and how they kind of up-leveled their branding this year. And then we finished up the day with a business booster session from Hillary Halstead Scott, Nina Cooper, Mariel Diaz, Leah Sensenbrenner, and Ingrid Hilke. And Robin and I curated or moderated that panel, I should say, and we had a blast. Anyway, it was awesome. And I got to share with you my new mantra called, I'm going to share it till the end because it's part of one of the lessons. So I am not going to spill the beans right now. Anyway, before I dive in, I just wanted to mention if you are thinking about really taking your business to the next level and you're unclear about how to do it, and you're someone who's committed to either crossing the 6-figure mark for the first time or getting your 6-figure business to multiple 6 figures, I'd love to invite you to join us for a game plan session with someone on my team. You can head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/game plan call. You can just jot that down. I'll also have it in the show notes over at episode 170 here on our website. And I'd like to invite you to jump on one of those calls. There are some parameters that we ask you to self-identify. You'll be asked to fill out a short application. And if you're approved, you'll get on a call with one of our team members and we'll kind of walk you through what's going on in your business now and how we think we can help you get to that next level and kind of give you a roadmap of your next level of success. So we'd love to help you with that. One of my favorite things was hearing designers make declarations about their business. And we had a designer walk up to me. I had a designer, I'll keep her name confidential. She might not be super excited about it, but I'll tell you her first name. Her name's Michelle. And she said to me, Tracy, I am saying this out loud because it scares the you know what out of me, but I'm going to have a $5 million business because what I'm doing is so important to my mission that this is going to impact millions. And I was just so proud that she said that out loud. I started crying, which was amazing. We had another designer tell me that she was going to stop making excuses and actually do what she said she was going to do, which is all I care about, is getting people moving into action. And so it was just a really inspiring event. And we have thousands of more stories. And I'm saying thousands because each designer, we had 125 people there. We had another 100 people on live stream. We're sharing their stories about how they're going to make these changes in their business. And it's just exciting to me to see you guys really stepping up. The best part about it is that we had so many designers on live stream and also in person who were some of our first students at Flourish and Thrive come back. We hadn't heard from them in a while because they're working on their business and growing, but they're like, we miss you guys. We wanted to come back and see it. And so it was so fun to see some of our designers in the audience and just sharing how their businesses have grown over this period of time. So let's dive in. Lesson number 1 is to use your connections wisely. And I'm saying this because connections come in a lot of different ways. From Candace mentioned in our group, her favorite part about the event was really connecting with the other designers. And I'm using a little bit of a play on words because if connection was our theme for the event and we're talking about the courage to connect with your content, Robin's talking about networking and your net worth and how those relationships and connections become so powerful. It's true that you need to use your connections wisely. And those connections come in various forms and in various ways because we have peers who are our best connections and they're going to help us grow our business and really get to the next level. But we also make connections with our dream customers online every single day. So it's all about content, networking, influencer strategy, creating connections that are going to help us improve our outreach, improve our exposure, to build long-term relationships that are going to help us grow our business for the long haul. And this is where, when you have connections like this, whether it be peer connections or business relationships, meeting influencers who are going to actually change your business, you start to realize that we are all in the same boat and that the struggle is real and that your struggles start to not seem so unique and so daunting because we're all in this together. And when you can get support from people who've already gone through it and see how they've come out on the other side, or when you can really experience and think about innovative ways that people have used their creativity to problem solve to overcome the same struggle that you might be experiencing, it becomes not so daunting and building a business becomes fun again. So I just wanted to talk to you about that because Flourish and Thrive Academy was founded on our belief of community and collaboration over competition. And that is what we stand for. And we're always going for it. Lesson number 2, getting your business to your first 100K or beyond is a lot easier than you think. Now, when we started Flourish and Thrive Academy, we started with some foundational course, but my vision was to really help people who were at the multiple six-figure, who really wanted to be on that trajectory to building 7-figure and beyond businesses, because that's a trajectory I built. And I built that with very little support in the beginning. It was just really about putting one foot in front of the other, taking simple steps and continually moving forward. But as I mentioned before, is that as you start to grow your business, your problems change and you're going to always have to be pivoting and innovating. And what I want to remind most people is that if you really want it, getting to $100,000, your first $100,000 in revenue is not that hard. And then once you can cross that threshold, you have so much power to continue growing to high first 6 figures, multiple 6 figures, and beyond. One of the ways that, some of the things that we talked about in order to do that was number 1, as I mentioned before, is just taking simple steps and focusing on revenue generating activities, but also planning and budgeting, which is something that Mariel Diaz talked about not only in our breakout session, but on the panel, is thinking about what is it really going to take? How are you going to get there? What's your break even point? How much do you need to sell in order to not only cover all your expenses, but to pay yourself the salary that you want? And, one of my reasonings for picking that 6-figure mark, because a lot of people say to me, I don't care about making 6 figures. I just want to make a living wage. Well, in most parts of the country, a living wage is $50,000. in revenue or in personal salary. And it depends on where you live, because, you might be able to live off less than that. In New York City, $50,000 is not going to get you anywhere. So it's going to be hard for us to live in a city like this, just making that. So obviously it's situational about where you live. But at the end of the day, one of the most important things is that you're focused on paying yourself not only a living wage, but beyond that, so that you can have an abundant lifestyle based on what it is that you want. And as I've been taking a lot of calls from designers and having them tell me their 3-year vision and their biggest fantasy of what they want to build in their business, you realize a lot of people want to take home a lot more than that. And the first step is crossing the 6-figure hurdle. I remember when I was talking with Pam, one of our SOS designers, she mentioned to me, she has a brick and mortar store and she's trying to leverage her business a little bit more online. She lives in a very small community, and something really amazing happened at the event because she realized that she could ask for a lot more money from people in her community and leverage her experience more and leverage what she knew more, and people would actually pay for it. And so I'm going to share a little bit more about that story later. But I want to say that because she had this big statement in our intake call about retiring her husband. And this is really powerful because I know a lot of women, especially with everything that's going on in the political landscape these days, it's all about women's empowerment. And while we support men here too. We have some great men in our SOS program and in our community. We would never only support women over here. But I think it's empowering to hear so many women who want to be that force in the family. And so we're here to fully support that for those who want to do that. We also talked about how all businesses can be profitable. And that starts here with growing your business. Ingrid talked about the profits first philosophy and how businesses of any size can be profitable if they think strategically about what profits really mean and how they're growing it. We also talked about how to streamline your business more so that you can have more profitability and take home more money at the end of the day. And I love the breakout session that Nina Cooper and Hillary Halstead Scott had at the Lev event, talking about how to streamline your business more and how to get the right support and lead teams that are actually going to help you grow towards your bigger goals when you're at that space to actually hire a team. Lesson number 3 is all about sales success. And that sales success is really reliant on just 3 things. And this dials into our online sales success loop, the attract and connect plus convert plus re-engage model. Because as we know, and you've heard me say this before, and you heard Robin say this before, and I want to just highlight this because one of our designers, Christine Stanton-Lupo, just really pulled this off like a charm. This 3-tiered model is really thinking about how we can leverage the customers that we already have to continue not only attracting new customers, but use this model in a circular fashion so that we're always cycling through that loop of attracting new customers, converting them to sales, and then re-engaging those customers and our previous customers to buy more from us. Because the truth is that 20% of your customers make up 80% of your sales. And it's 7 times harder to get a new customer than to deliver an amazing experience to previous customers. And Christine did something super ninja as she was coached by one of her coaches in SOS to take a look back at her 18 years in business and start doing outreach. And, I inspired her to do this, what is your strategy for re-engagement? And then when she got on her call, I think it was with our coach, Sarah, might not have been Sarah, but even if it wasn't Sarah, it was still one of our amazing coaches. And the idea was that she basically dug up emails from people she hadn't worked with in 18 years and just introduce herself again to get back to that no factor so that she could start conversations with them. And the result was incredible. She has already surpassed her annual sales from last year. And this was at the end of the summer that she did this. So within 8 months, she'd already passed her sales. Because of this, she was able to bring her daughter on a New York vacation. She was able to go on a vacation for herself to Italy. And these are all things that she had dreamed of doing for many years. But financially, it just wasn't possible. And so think about this, you guys, that sales success loop is the number one thing that's going to continue growing your business. And if you want to learn more about that, we'd be happy to jump on a game plan call with you and talk a little bit more about how it's relevant to your business. Lesson number 4, don't reinvent the wheel. So my first talk was really about leveraging content. So we talk about using content and creating it in this framework of know, like, and trust, because that's really how you're continuing to making sales. And I was reminded of this concept when I was at an event this summer in Croatia. An amazing woman named Kat Howell, she's a Facebook ads and groups expert, was talking about how to build know, like, and trust in your Facebook groups. And I'm like, duh, we talk about this all the time. We could totally leverage this in all the content that we do and that we teach. And so we showed you how to leverage content on multiple platforms using this know, like, and trust framework so that you can rotate it. And also not reinventing the wheel. You have so much content probably already that you can repurpose over and over and over again to create that wheel of know, like, and trust, which is lesson number 5, which is all about continually creating and leveraging that know, like, and trust factor in every single thing that you do. So it's easy to continue to make sales when you leverage the know, like, and trust factor, because getting exposure and showing your brand personality becomes super easy when you start to share your customer journey and even feature your previous customers in your content. So I remember being at Traffic and Conversion, and I had a recap episode of that probably in the spring sometime. So you should definitely go check that out. I was at a talk with Ezra Firestone, and he talks about how they do this in email marketing in two very specific ways. One is to feature client case studies in their emails. And so they would put like video slides in the emails that clicked to videos that were on their blog post that had calls to action to actually buy the products that the people were talking about in the videos. And finally, editing the unsubscribe box at the bottom of your email so that when people are getting emails from you, they can read more about why you actually do this and why it's important for them to stay on your list. And this drastically reduces your email opt-out rates. And so this creates trust. And when you can rotate these pillars on an ongoing basis in everything that you do, you start to create that sales success loop cycle where it's easy for you to re-engage previous customers. Lesson number 6 is all about building a successful business, which is all about leverage, not working harder. So I was talking with a student of ours who is a graduate, and she was telling me that she was working with another mentor for a while and has now come back to us because the philosophy of the other mentor is to get success, you just have to work harder, work harder, work harder, work harder, work harder. And we don't believe that over here at all. And while building a business is definitely work, there are ways to grow your business that not only help you fit into the type of lifestyle that you want to create, but also help you not only leverage your talents, but leverage your business in a way that you can actually have a life and you're not feeling overwhelmed, and you don't always have to be at in-person shows. And I've proven it over and over again to the designers that we mentor over here at Flourish and Thrive. In fact, Allison Calloway Young, who I'm going to be interviewing for the podcast pretty soon, faced one of her fears and actually presented one of her pieces to a client and was able to charge because of the way that she was redesigning the piece for her almost, I guess, 7 or 8 times more than the original piece. And there's a reasoning for that. I don't want to spill the beans, but that is what leverage is. It's thinking outside of the box, having the courage to ask your worth and to really, really go for it. So small tweaks can really make big rewards to leverage your time and talent in the long run. And I say this because there's another designer, Pam, who's in our community, where she did something super fun. She's in our SOS program and she was donating a piece to a charity. And normally on her website, she would charge maybe $250 for this particular piece. And on purpose, because she was really passionate about the charity and she wanted to raise money for it, she took the piece off her website so that no one could look while they were at the charity event for what the going rate was, because she didn't want it to sort of coin or put the piece in a box so that people would stop bidding at a certain amount. Not only did that strategy totally work, but she was able to get almost, I think she usually charges $250. She almost got $1,000 for the piece at the auction. And the person who bought it said he wanted earrings. And then the other person who was in a bidding war with the winner of the piece ended up ordering the same piece directly from Pam. So I just want to mention this because I think a lot of times there are ways to think about growing our business that don't necessarily have to mean always selling more units. It might just be finding better customers or elevating our materials or reevaluating our pricing. Like raising pricing is one way to grow your business without necessarily having to sell more units. And obviously what you're selling has to warrant a price increase. But at the same time, this is one of the ways that I really leveraged myself in my business is because I moved from designing bridge jewelry to fine jewelry. That's not for everyone. And maybe that's not what you want to do, but I'm just saying there are a lot of ways to leverage what is actually working to make more money than you're thinking probably of right now. So that was a big lesson and a recurring theme that came up over and over and over again. Lesson number 7. Your brand story is everything. So I say this because we were talking with Gina and Jared about their website and their rebrand that they did, one of the things that they worked with our coaches on in the SOS program and that they spoke about on the event on stage was really the rebrand that they did. They already had a successful business. They were getting a lot of sales. They were doing really well in business before they even started with working with us in our program. But the biggest disconnect was that they were getting a lot of people opting into their list and following them who weren't ever really buying. And so they had this way that they would give away a product. They would give away a free ring for anyone who opted in for their email list. And when we talked about it, when they first started working together, part of the revelation was that those customers weren't really their ideal clients. So they worked with some of our coaches to get really clear on their messaging, their ideal clients. They got a lot of feedback from the website review that we did in the beginning of the year. And they did a complete overhaul with everything they did, including the copy. And their number one goal at the beginning of the year with us was to get consistent sales. And as they started moving along in the process, just making those few little tweaks by really elevating and using their brand story to speak to their ideal customers, their sales became consistent almost immediately, which has been really awesome to watch and super fun. And this all just was small tweaks that they made. It wasn't anything super major. It's just a little bit of a refresh in the design of their website and change in the language that they were using and how they were kind of highlighting what it is that they did. And the number one thing, so Catherine Maddie spoke the second day, and one of the things that she said was that the way that they pick out product for Uncommon Goods and for, any jewelry brand that she's ever worked for was really that they're always looking for a product or a designer to work with that has a unique story behind why they do what they do. So you can't get away from it. Your brand story is everything, and it's going to be the one thing that helps you really connect with your dream clients over and over and over again and get you consistent sales. So if you can get super clear on your messaging and your why, and people can understand what it means to them, so much will change. Lesson number 8, think micro instead of macro. This one is really, really fun because we had our influencer panel on the first day. We had some amazing influence experts on there. We had Aggie Burnett, Janine Just, and Brittany Hennessy. And you might have heard me, I interviewed Brittany a couple weeks ago. I will definitely be interviewing Aggie and Justine at some point. But we've been super obsessed with influence strategy lately for a lot of reasons, but primarily because it is a really great way to get exposure. And so one of the things that Brittany was talking about is don't knock the micro influencers because you never know, and think outside of the box with the types of influencers that you actually partner with. Because if you make beautiful rings and you have, let's say, a mom blogger, and that's your target audience that is featuring things like changing diapers all the time or things where her hands are being shown all the time, this could be a really amazing partnership. Whereas I think and the smaller microbloggers are a lot easier to connect with, and they are curating content and creating content, maybe is a better way to put it, for a different type of reason than the other people, than bigger bloggers maybe even are, or bigger influencers on Instagram. Don't knock the microbloggers and think outside of the box. Do think outside of the box, don't not think outside of the box, but think outside of the box when you're working in the influence space of the types of people that you could partner with. How are your values aligned and all those things? It doesn't have to be straightforward jewelry and fashion that you partner with. It could be a lot of different categories. Lesson number 9, PR booty calls are never a good idea. Seriously, Sabina Hitchin kills me. I just love her so much. She's so funny. And she always has a great way about her teaching of PR. But I love this idea because just like any relationship building that you're doing, it's really important to build relationships all the time. And if you were interested in someone, you wouldn't go straight for the booty call if you were interested in having a long-term relationship with them. You would try to get to know them first, you would date them for a while, and then you might go for the booty call a little bit later down the road. So remember that just like anything else in life, PR is really about building strong relationships and connections with people who are real people. They want to know who you are. They want to feel like you're doing your research and actually reaching out to the right publications and not just any publication. So build a relationship slowly and do what Sabina says. She is the best. Lesson number 10, SEO on YouTube is a solid way to get traffic to your website. So a lot of us probably aren't really using YouTube that much, but we had a lot of discussion about video traffic, and we're going to talk about that next as well. But Maisha Walker, our new SEO coach in SOS program, that sort of is a tongue twister, gave us this really amazing strategy about having our posting on YouTube regularly with creating videos content with long tail keywords that people might be searching for based on their intention to buy. And then you get those videos transcribed. This is a little bit of a longer discussion than a quick recap. And you take that transcription, swipe the copy, and put it in the description in the YouTube. And that helps pick up on multiple long tail keywords in the descriptions. I love this because it's an amazing way to capture an audience in a different way. YouTube is a great way to find people, and it's still, compared to what people are competing over on the regular Google platform, it's just a great way to start building traffic and sales to your website. So I loved it. Maisha shared a ton of other SEO tips, and she's super smart, and I'm super excited to have her as one of our coaches to help out the designers who are in our SOS program, which is going to be amazing. Lesson number 11, video is king, and it's been king for a long time. So we had an amazing talks about video throughout the entire event. Obviously, Maisha Walker talked about how you can use transcriptions from your YouTube videos to actually pick up SEO, long tail keywords to drive traffic to your website. But also, we talked a lot about how to use video as a sales tool. And I'm going to give you 2 examples right now. One of our sponsors, Immerse, talked about their platform and how they're using video strategies to not only connect with influencers that you can basically shop on the platforms at the same time, but it's also a great tool to actually host live sales where people can click and buy straight from the platform. So that's an amazing technology that you'll be hearing us talk about a little bit more. But if you're not as tech savvy and you're not interested in going on another platform just yet, using regular old Facebook Live videos is a great way to sell product on your Facebook page. And we did a little case study with Kina Treadway of Few Made Designs. She is one of the designers in our SOS program. You've been hearing me talk about her lately because she's getting such insane results. The girl had never sold more than $2,000 a month ever in her career. And she was doing this very part-time because she has a full-time job. And the girl's crushing it. She's doing like $8,000 a month in sales just as a part-time business. And it's really awesome. Anyway, Kina has a very small Facebook following, but her customer is definitely on Facebook. And so she wanted to leverage her Facebook audience to grow her sales. So she stepped out of her comfort zone, did a great promotion for a Facebook Live trunk show. And she's been using a lot of video on her Facebook page, and her tiny little 600 to 700 person Facebook following has insane engagement because she's using video. The videos are getting 600 views. They're getting 10 shares, organic shares with no one. I mean, the videos on the Flourish and Thrive page don't even get 10 shares. We get more views than that because we have a bigger audience, but 10, I think that is really, really good. 10 shares. It's amazing. And it's all organic. It wasn't even like she asked people to share it. So it's pretty incredible what video can do to help grow your Facebook page. And so if you are someone who's trying to sell on Facebook and you're struggling with it, trust me, this is a really important platform to continue with because live video is just an amazing tool to sell. So do not knock it. Lesson number 12. A perfect 10 isn't always a blessing. So I shared the story on the second day about how I score a 10 on the Colby exam, a 10 in a quick start. And one of the things that I found about being a 10 on quick start, this just means how quickly I am to be able to move into action. So if I'm in stress, I just automatically move into action and start moving forward. And it's interesting because I was told that by several people who read Colby exams that they've never met someone who is actually a 10 on quick start in the Colby. And basically what this means is that I need a lot of support in other areas. And so I say that it isn't always being a perfect 10 isn't always a blessing because we all have our downsides to our personality and our working style. And the sooner we can figure out what our gaps are and to really focus on our strengths, the faster we are moving towards success. This is a much bigger conversation, but I just want to remind you that none of us are ever going to be good at everything. And we torture ourselves half the time because we focus on the things in our business that we are weakest at most of the times, because those are the things that take us the longest. And they're also the things that frustrate us and hold us back. So I really want to encourage you to start thinking differently about how you can get the right support, whether it's hiring a mentor or a consultant or a coach or getting in a program like SOS so that you can see and fill the gaps that are missing in your business by getting help from people who are actually good at those things. All right. Lesson number 13. We are down to the final lesson. That lesson is that it is my belief that creatives rule the world. And hopefully after this live event, many others believe this too. And so here's the deal. I'm on a mission to spread this message because I truly believe that we are all creative beings in one way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter if you're a jewelry designer or an analyst and who looks at numbers all day. Our creativity as entrepreneurs is the one single most important thing that is going to help us grow in business for the long term. And it's not just about what we design and using it for the actual skill that we have. It's about becoming a creative problem solver. It's about learning how to talk to people, about creating a message and a brand story. It's about how you can think strategically to actually grow your business and use that creativity. And it's amazing because we've been working with about 35 designers from the beginning of the program, but now we have about 56 in the program, in our SOS program. And I've gotten to watch so many of them grow and use their creativity to really think outside of the box to grow their business, just like Christine did by reconnecting with customers over the past 18 years and already surpassing her sales from last year at the end of August. Like Kina did to do Facebook Live trunk shows when she was terrified, and like Cheryl did to really level up to set her business up in a way so she could retire and go live on a boat for the rest of her life and replace her full-time income that she was making at a regular job. Like Gina and Jared did to rebrand and speak directly with their imaging and messaging to their dream clients, which allowed them to get consistent sales on the reg instead of just spikes and ups and downs and ebbs and flows in sales like they were getting before. And like Allison did by getting on the phone with and upselling a customer by offering her a service and by thinking strategically about how she could position the best offer as the most expensive in a way that her customer would align with it because her customer wanted that anyway. And just like Pam did by taking her pieces off her website and getting 5 times the original price that she originally priced that piece for to raise money for charity and then get several custom orders for it in that higher price range. So I just want you to think strategically, what are you doing that's holding yourself back, your business back by not thinking creatively? Because you got this. And I have to tell you that creatives rule the world. And I want to help you reach your goals and reach your full potential. And before I jump off this podcast today, I just wanted to share 2 things. The first is that I know sometimes taking a big leap of faith and taking a jump and doing something new is really scary. And in fact, at the end of the event, we played a Mel Robbins video in which she talks about motivation as basically just BS. It's the reason why we hold ourselves back in business and in life is because when we are faced against something that is uncomfortable and causes fear or seems like a risk, we immediately retreat and we become paralyzed and we can't move forward. And so I really want to encourage you to get support in some way, shape, or form in the places that you're stuck or you're feeling like you're not moving forward in business. And so I'd like to invite you, if this is something that's interesting to you, to let my team help you. And I'd like to invite you to a free game plan call. It doesn't cost anything. We do have some parameters, like you have to be serious about growing your business. You have to have a strong desire to want to cross the 6-figure mark if you're not already there. And if you're already at the 6-figure mark, you have to have a desire to either restructure the way your business is running right now and or grow to multiple 6 figures. Both of those things are key. And you also have to have a business that's actually like stable and running and ready to kind of dive in so that we can work on it and be ready to, if you don't have a website yet, set up a website for your business, because that's really what we're working on, is using your website as your number one sales tool. So if those things sound great and you're interested in learning more about how we can help you, I'd love to invite you to jump on a game plan call with someone on my team. You could just head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/game plan call to jump up. All the details will be right there, and to apply for a call. Super fun. You can jump up, raise your hand, apply for a call. Let's do this. So check it out. Head on over to flourishthriveacademy.com/game plan call. I would love to thank our sponsors for Flourish and Thrive Live, especially our sponsor for the show today, Nina Designs. And I would also love to thank the rest of our sponsors: Halstead Bead, Accounting for Jewelers, Nina Designs, Packaging Specialties, Jewelry Designer Manager, Jewelers Mutual Insurance, Finding Box, American Handcrafted, The Acres Show, and Immerse, which is awesome. I am so excited to have really pulled off what I think was an amazing event. And we had a blast wrapping up the event with just some fun dancing to Justin Timberlake. I sang karaoke a few times. It was awesome. We had so much fun. Thanks for listening today. Jump on a game plan call. Let us help you out. We got your back. All right. See you later. Take care till next time.